Year 3, Miss Martin here to help you make some nice art. And today we're going to be doing hand art and we're going to be doing stencils. And for that we're going to need a piece of black paper or card, a piece of grey, this is A4 size. We need a pen or a pencil, doesn't matter whichever you have to hand, pair of scissors, and then we need some chalk. This is some chalk and some charcoal. And we're going to need to use our hands, of course. So let's begin. We take an old piece of paper or card and we lay our hands on it. Just one hand, make sure it's got space all the way around, so it needs a gap around it all. We don't want your fingers going off the top like I've just done on my film, silly Miss Martin. But your hands need to be nicely on your piece of cardboard. You then draw around these. If you struggle with this, you can always get a friend to draw around for you, but try and do it yourself, COVID and all that. There we go. So now we're going to add some chalk. This is to help us for later. And we're just going to draw around our hand on the inside. Try and keep it within the lines. It doesn't matter if it goes slightly over because we're going to be cutting out. But basically you go around each finger, getting lots of nice thick chalk on, which will help us later. There we go, nice and thick. And go over it a few times. And now this is ready for us to cut out. So if we cut round, now we don't need any of the background. So if you want to sort of get rid of it to make it easier, that's fine. Just cutting carefully around because we're trying to make it really individual. It's why we're drawing around your hand to make it exactly like your hand. So if you sort of like are clumsy with how you cut it, then you won't have your hand anymore. I'm going to get rid of my background because it's beginning to annoy me and get in the way. So I'll get rid of that. Let's just scrap now. And then finish off around the last finger and to the wrist. Fantastic. Now we're ready to do some stenciling. This is the stencil. And we're going to start with our black card. If we're using chalk, we're doing it on black card. You lay it on, making sure that there's card all the way around, and then you just start smudging and wiping. The brilliant thing about chalk and charcoal, in fact, is it does this lovely smudging. And we layered some chalk on already, but you can always add more if you want the lines to be a lot stronger and brighter white. You just add a bit more, but the idea was of adding some at the start is just to get you going. You see there, I'm sort of thinking that'll probably need a bit more chalk. Yeah, just add that on. Now you see how I'm steadying the stencil with my other hand, keeping it still. It's really important to do that. You don't want it moving around, otherwise you won't get a nice clear image. So keep one hand nicely holding it on. If you struggle with this, you could always use a little bit of blue tack or something like that to keep it in place. There we go, I'm just adding some final bits and you'll be amazed how much of a difference just this little bit of chalk makes. It doesn't look like much at the moment, but when you have it, against the black, you can really see that outline. And there it is, our hand stencil, our first one. We're going to do exactly the same, this time on grey, on the grey paper, and this time using our charcoal. We did the chalk first because it's a lighter colour, and we're just going to go over with the charcoal. And again, this is just to give us a bit of a help to begin with. Just getting it on all those fingers. Now, of course, this isn't how the cave people, the Stone Age people, made their cave art at all. What they would do is they would use their real hands and press them up on the wall of the cave. And then they would spray it with pigment, with paint, which is stuff that they got by chewing up very soft rocks like chalk. Chalk is a soft rock, or there's other different colours, ochres and browns and things like that, a very soft rock, and you chew it up and then literally it makes a paint in your mouth with your saliva and you spit on it. So it's like a spray paint. Now, did you see that? I just lifted up a little bit there. Don't lift up the whole thing, just lift up bits you want to check and go, right, I need to add a little bit more there. So don't lift up the whole thing. If you do by accident, just carefully match it back up. So another way they used to do it, not just spitting out paint on their hands, is they used to mix paint into a shell or a little bowl made of bark or something, and then they would, there you go, they're looking good, aren't they? Then they would spray it on using a pipe made from a reed or a bit of bone. So there, we've used chalk for our black one and charcoal for our grey one. Have some fun, everybody, and make yourself some Stone Age, Stone Age stencils. Bye.